making this video because I couldn't find a video on how to change the brakes on my 1983 Honda Nighthawk 650, and it's pretty easy, but hopefully this will help somebody speed things up without having to learn the hard way like I did. So first thing you want to do is there's a retainer clip that's held on by a bolt. It's a 10mm bolt right on the back side of the calipers. So you want to remove that first, because while it's in place it's easier to loosen it up because it's hard to hold. So break that loose. See how hard? There we go. All right, it's a retaining clip, and there's two rods. There's a that hold the pads in. See the pins right there, and pin right there. And all right, to pull the caliper off, you need a 14mm wrench. Loosen that one up, and then loosen that one up. This is a 12mm wrench. And don't pull the bolts out. You want to loosen this one up first, and then, well, either way, but if you take them both out, like loosen it up and just get it hand loosened, and then loosen the other one up and get it hand loosened. Otherwise it'll twist on you. So then now just pull them out by hand. There and there. And this one will need to be greased up, and your caliper should slide right out. There you go. Yeah, these are pretty thin, so it's time to definitely replace them. Now I've got a C-clamp, and I'm going to use a C-clamp to push those pistons in. Of course I need both hands, so I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to clean the, I'm going to take the things out first, the pads out first, clean the pistons, and then push them back in. Before I do that, make sure you push those pins out. Get those pins out, because those pins go through these holes. So that's what keeps the pads from sliding out. So pull those pins out first, and then you can pull the pads out. All right, I got the pistons pushed back and somewhat clean enough anyway. So the way you do it, again, I need two hands, so I'm just going to explain it. You're going to put one pad in like that, and then you're going to put the two pins in those two holes there, and you want to grease up the pins. I got a little grease on the pin just to get them to slide in. So I'll be back when I get the so you slide in the first pad, get the pin set, and then you slide in the second pad, obviously facing outwards, and then you can slide it back onto the disc and put your bolts in. Okay, I got the two pins in and the first pad lined up, and you see the two pins sticking out there. Now I want to put the opposing pad in with the pad facing this pad, and then slide the pins all the way through. Got the outer pad lined up. I push the pins all the way through. See them protruding there. And now what you can do is you can put that retaining clip on to make sure it lines up, and then just hand tighten the nut. So the retaining clip, see if I can do this by one hand. And what I did was I put the old pad in between to keep the pad separated until I slip it onto the rotor. That's how that clip goes. There's two grooves on those pins, and that clip goes on there, and then when you bolt it down, it's going to push the clip up and retain those pins from falling out, and then put your bolt on that side there. Okay, I got the bolt on there, but I just snugged it down. I didn't crank it down yet. I'm gonna wait till after I get the caliper set back onto the bike before I tighten it down, so I don't have to try to hold it and tighten it at the same time. So here's a little bit of the tricky part. You want to keep the pads separated, and then slip it on over the rotor. So I'll need 2 hands for that. Okay, I got it on there. You just kind of have to pull the caliper towards you a little bit after you slip it on to clear this little bushing here. And then there's a little rubber baffle here, so you have to push that back to line up the top of the caliper and put your bolt in. And for the top bolt, you also want to grease it up, because it allows the calipers to expand and contract. All right, so now tighten everything down. So don't forget, this is 14 millimeter, this is 12 millimeter, and don't forget to tighten that down 10 millimeter. All right, everything's tightened up, and now what you want to do is you want to squeeze the handbrake lever. See how it's kind of loose now? So I'm gonna squeeze the handbrake lever until I get pressure. There you go. Now I shouldn't. There you go. Now it won't wobble around anymore, and you got good brakes. And that is how you change the brake pads on a 1983 Honda Nighthawk 650 CB650 SC blah blah blah. Hope that helps someone later.